Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Reimagine the North with Alex Mackenzie. That's me. We have a very exciting guest with us today. She is an entrepreneur, a business owner, a hairstylist, a mother. Please welcome Michelle Oulette.
Thank you.
Hey, Michelle.
I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Did I say your last name right?
Oulette?
Oh, I said Oulette.
Oulette.
It's Oulette.
It's okay.
Don't worry, we can edit that in post, and we're definitely not going to edit that.
Perfect.
So, you own the current hair salon here in Prince George.
Yeah.
Were you born and raised in Prince George?
I was, yes.
All right. And what's your favorite thing about Prince George?
Oh my gosh. Probably the people. I
That's
love the people. They're so nice. And yeah.
Yeah, being a hairstylist, you probably get to meet so many. Hey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. I know a few people.
And you know a few people growing up here, doing your thing.
Yeah.
What made you want to open a hair salon? How did that all start?
Well, my first ever business, and I think this is so funny, is when I was young, I was 8 years old, I used to braid hair at the park for money. So
Really?
Yeah, my cousin and I, we would go to like Clé Tenay. She lived by the park, and we had our little wagon, and yeah, we had a poster sign, and we'd be like tiny braids, cornrows for $8 for a full head, I think.
Right.
Yeah, and we had people like lined up.
Dude, that's phenomenal. Did you just put the lemonade stand out of business? Hey?
Yeah,
All the people trying to sell
No,
lemonade?
we had our little sisters doing lemonade.
You had lemonade, so
yeah.
you had like a little mobile salon
Yeah.
going. Okay, so you've always had the entrepreneurial spirit.
I think so. Yeah, and years later, my cousin that I used to do this with, she did my original branding, like my logo and my website. So
Yeah.
it's kind of cool.
Yeah,
Full circle.
that's super cool. You know what I used to do for money? Hey-o. No, I learned magic tricks.
Nice.
So I would do card tricks. I remember like being on the basketball team, and you would go and you would do like card tricks for money. And
It's
like,
funny how those little things you do as a kid can lead to, just the things that you like to do for fun. If you can find a way to make money doing that.
yeah.
Sweet.
Well, you know what I always found funny with it is like any video game you played, or any of those things, like you could have like that virtual lemonade stand game on your phone. Like you figure out how to make millions in that. But when it comes to life, you're like, why can't I figure it out in the real world? Like every other game. But it's like, I think that the hard part of it is the timeline, right? Because like in the video game, everything's rapid fire. Like you would open a hair salon, right? And then it would have like one chair, and you'd start cutting hair, and you'd watch your thing grow up. And then it would be like, oh, add a second chair for $200. And then you'd buy a second chair, and then you'd watch it going up twice as quick.
Yeah.
Is where in real life to expand like that, you're like, oh, that's 6 months of work.
The patience.
To get from one chair to the second one.
Yes.
And then also being very diligent with your money. In the game, they don't have a bunch of people throwing you, sidebars. Like, oh, you can buy a dirt bike for $2,000.
I don't know. I'm not much of a gamer, so I can't relate. Maybe that's why I would made it or somehow managed to make it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And so the current salon, that started how many years ago?
Well, it started about 10 years ago in my home. So we started with 2 chairs in my home, and then 2 turned into 4. And then it was kind of like, okay, we can't be operating out of my house anymore.
Yeah.
And then 5 years ago, we opened the commercial space downtown. And that was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Scary.
That's so cool. Getting your
it
own
was
spot.
2019. So December of 2019, and then COVID happened right after. So
No way. Dude, that's like within like a few months, right?
Yeah.
January is when COVID like started kind of going. And then March, I think, is when the shutdown was, right? So that was probably terrifying.
It
right?
was, yeah. But we made it, and I feel like that's the thing. Now, 5 years later, they say the first 5 years is so crazy, and it was, and I learned so much, and we survived somehow. So yeah, I'm excited for the next 5 years.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's around the same time that I quit my job to do comedy, because I quit in May of 2019.
Right.
And then when I quit, I was like, I love this comedy. It's the one thing that no one can take from me. And then they're like, within 8 months, they're like, oh, that thing you like to do? That's illegal. Stay inside. Don't go do any laughing out there with rooms of people.
Yeah.
And so that was like terrifying trying to navigate through COVID.
What did you do during COVID?
During COVID? Okay. So I got big on like the social media stuff. So I started, because I didn't have, like I self-produce everything. So I just like rent venues, put on shows, hope I sell more than it costs to do. I then just started digging into the art of it. So like I was like, I use this time to learn to write jokes. So I
Mhm.
bought every joke writing book I could.
Mhm.
And then every day I would write 5 jokes. So I was like, write 5 dumb jokes a day.
Yeah.
And then every day I would pick whatever I thought the best one was. And then I posted on TikTok.
Yeah,
And
nice.
so then every day I was posting on TikTok and going live.
Yeah.
And then that was TikTok prime days, you know, COVID. Everyone was inside, that's all they were doing. So I got very lucky and managed to get a bit of a following there. And then what I started doing was producing Zoom shows.
Oh, yeah.
So then we would do Zoom comedy. So we
that's cool.
went on Eventbrite and you could make a ticket. It was like $10 a ticket and it would send them a Zoom link. And then we would do, it was called Comedy Night in Canada. And then we
Nice.
just started doing Zoom comedy shows.
Come on, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you were
Where was
doing.
that?
I don't know. Our marketing budget wasn't good enough to get it
Yeah.
out to everyone.
Yeah.
But it was really good because that was actually the thing that gave me the idea for what is now the Hungry for Laughs tour, because I got to work with so many artists because no comedians were working. So then I would message them and be like, hey man, like really high level comics that would never probably give me the time of day before. I'm like, hey, do you want to do, we've got this thing, you know, this Zoom comedy night. And every one of them's like, yes, please, let me
Yeah.
tell a joke somewhere. I don't
nice.
care.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, so we started doing that. And then when that ended, I just turned it into live event production.
Cool.
But this isn't about me, it's about you. What did you do during COVID?
During COVID, yeah, we did a lot of training because we had a lot of new staff when we opened. And so we took Zoom, like we went over Zoom and just learned about the products. And I think we went over like our values and our mission statement, things like that. We just took advantage of the time, of the downtime. And honestly, there was so much that, because it was so crazy, like the first 3 months we were in business, that I was actually like, oh, grateful for the little pause.
Yeah.
And then we came up with some ways to, like once we opened up, we had to work in kind of 2 teams to like a chair apart. So there was ways we could work it out, but I think we worked 3/10s.
Right.
Like each team worked 3/10s, so we could
Like they're under COVID rules, you mean? They had
yeah,
to do that?
yeah.
Right.
So we did, we figured it out. It was, I was okay with the little pause for a second.
Yeah. Yeah, I always look back at it. I don't know. I think one of the most powerful framings you can have in life is that it's happening for me, not to me. And so like when I look back on COVID, I'm like, I think that saved my comedy career. You know, like I was struggling. I didn't know what I was doing, the production wise. My comedy wasn't where it should have been. Like I jumped in way over my head. I'm like, dude, I'm not funny enough to be doing this full time. What did I do? And I had a hard time figuring it out. So by getting COVID came, it gave me time where I'm like, okay, you can just focus on learning to be funny and write some stuff.
Yeah, totally.
And then, yeah, for your business.
Yeah,
Gave
good
you time to-
positive mindset, right?
Yeah, and it gave you time to build, it sounds like your brand, right? Like where you work on a mission statement and your story and yeah. And what is the story?
Story.
Or the brand, the mission
The
statement?
mission is to remain current in an ever-changing industry through growth, balance, and sustainability. That's our mission.
Yeah.
And our vision is sort of like, our philosophy is like TOSS, so like team of specialized stylists. So it's kind of, we want our clients to feel like they have a team of stylists and not just one. So
Right.
we can't all be good at everything.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so it's like depending on what they're getting done or depending on their budget, things like that, they can choose who's the best fit. Someone's sick, there's someone to step in. So we're very much like team-based.
Do you have
team-orientated.
a mullet specialist? Because I want to get a good mullet going.
We do. Oh
You
my
could
gosh.
get me a good
Shemaine.
mullet?
Yes.
Because see, why does my hair do this? Like I want it to be curly. And do I need to put cream in it? What's
Definitely product.
Because normally when I have my long hair, it's really curly. And I
Yeah.
cut it and now it's not. Now I look a little emo-y. It looks a little flat and silly.
I feel like it could be so many things. It could be product. It could be the way you style. Who knows?
Could be what I'm eating.
Yeah, you're gonna have to come in for like a thorough consultation.
Right. Yeah. And we do those here at The Current if you want to keep your hair current. It's very exciting. And you also run the Hair Academy, right? Is that right? Hair
Yeah.
Academy?
Yeah.
And when did that start?
That started the year after we moved downtown, so 2020, pretty much. And we're going into our 5th year now, I guess. But yeah, the Academy is a huge part of the business because I think I always had like a vision of double booking, and I thought when I started, it was like, you're like, okay, I'm as fast as I'm going to be. I'm charging as much as I probably can for this market. And even if I do charge more, I don't necessarily want to lose people that might not be able to pay those prices. You want to be able to keep them.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I got to train apprentices. And apprentices is kind of like an old school model that the salon I started out at, they were like, no, because it's too much money. You train them and then they leave. And they were like, no, we don't want to do that.
Right.
So I was like, okay, well, how am I going to make more money?
Yeah.
And so then I started training apprentices in my home. And that was kind of how I grew the team. And it was very expensive. And then as soon as they got trained up, they'd leave. So you're like, what the heck?
Right.
So I was like, okay.
Everything everyone told me was right.
Was right. They were all right. I had to learn the hard way. It's true. Luckily, I was in my home and didn't have much overhead at the time.
Yeah.
Made a lot of mistakes. But then that's where the school kind of came into play. I was like, well, I could start a school, train them, and then hire them, and it would kind of offset, the initial training costs. So it's been going really well. I feel like if I didn't have the school, we probably wouldn't have made it past COVID and all that. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, and you're giving back to the community by training people and giving them skilled labor.
Yeah. So it's a little unique. It's not like a traditional hair school. Like traditional hair schools are like 10 months long, full time. This is sort of a hybrid between an apprenticeship and hair school. So there's like 300 hours of classroom, and then the rest is sort of what we call salon immersion days. So they're in the salon learning, and yeah.
Yeah. Do you think, growing up in Prince George, is there anything you think that has helped you in your entrepreneurial pursuits in your career?
Oh my gosh, helped me.
I know, tricky questions, right?
It's a tricky question.
Yeah.
I feel like I had no choice, honestly, but to be an entrepreneur, because I was never like the good student, I was the student that talked too much and got sent to the hallway, and unless I really enjoyed doing something or I was interested, I just had a hard time focusing, paying attention. So for me, it was just really important to find something that I loved and that I was passionate about. Really.
Yeah. Did you think when you weren't able to focus on school and stuff, did you ever think, oh, I'm not smart?
Probably.
Because that was a big thing for me as well.
Yeah.
Like, I struggled with school a lot, and then I always thought, I'm an idiot, and I'm just not smart. But then as you grow older and then you learn, you're like, oh, I'm just not interested in any of this. As soon as someone dangled a big enough carrot in front of me, I'm like, I'll learn whatever, you know?
Totally. It had to apply to something I was interested in. Because, the certain subjects that I did like, I did fine in, but yeah.
Yeah, but the other ones were just the kicking water uphill the whole
Yeah,
time.
I was there for the socialization.
Yeah, what is it, Sisyphus? Is that the guy? I think that's the guy who got cursed by the gods to push the boulder up the hill all day, right?
Oh.
Is that right? I'm asking our producer Scotty. He knows all these motivational things, I think. But I think that's Sisyphus who's the guy. I'm just going to be totally wrong. And I also just so lispy. They're like, Sisha, who? Yeah, he has to push the boulder up the hill the whole time. But then he has to learn the enjoyment, because every time he gets to the top, they push it back down on him. And he's got to keep doing it. And then he just have to learn the enjoyment of the process. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's certain things like the business side of things, right? Like there's so much. I think we get into hairdressing thinking it's an artistic, it's more of a creative job, but the reality is doing hair for the most part, it's not that creative. You're kind of repeating the same sort of trends that are happening. So I remember thinking, okay, I don't want to get burnt out. I want to be able to do the creative stuff.
Right.
How can I make enough so that I can get paid to do the art piece?
Right.
And then I was like, I have to have my own business. You're just not, I saw that as the only way. So then starting the business, that's so much learning. And I do so many things that I don't necessarily love, but the accounting piece.
Yeah, well, that's what there's the story of I'm just full of stories here. No, they say the woman who opened the bakery, and then 12 months later, she forgets what it's like to even bake a cake.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's there's so much extra that goes into it that the whole reason you started, you don't really get to do anymore. But I agree. I think that's the biggest piece that most people miss with any, an artistic pursuit is you need to have like the business side kind of sorted. And I think that's where a lot of people struggle because without it, you can't make enough money to do it full time. So then you end up having to do like part-time jobs. And then that is taking away from the artist time anyway. So it's like the same time you like, if you put that into your own business, eventually you can create some sort of freedom to then have more time to do the thing you love to do. And yeah, everyone you talk to is like, oh, the first like 20 years even, they're like, it's just like, you wake up, you're like, what happened? You know?
I'm telling myself 5.
Yes, I know,
I like that
right?
you're saying 20.
I know, I always try to put everything long term. You know what a good framing I always use? For any time that I start getting worried or I think that like, oh, my comedy career is not going to make it or anything, a good frame of reference for time I use is like 30 years. So I say that, I'm like, okay, say I only wanted to do this till I was 65 and then retire. I'm like 65, I'm 37, but to give it even, just picture like 30 years. So I go even like regular working years, 30 more years. That's how much longer I have from today until retirement. And to give myself an idea of how long a time that is, I go, where were you 30 years ago? You go, kindergarten. And they're like, yes. Now to picture how far you can get, you go, imagine if in kindergarten you decided that, hey, I'm going to be a professional comedian or I'm going to be a haircutter. A haircutter, that's what you're called, right?
Haircutter.
Haircutters, that's what we call them. That's the wrong camera, that's the right one. Yeah, the haircutters. So then it's like, if you were decided that at 5 and then just worked every day until now, you're like, how far would you be?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you have that much time again right now.
Yeah.
So it's like, I find that a very like hopeful.
That's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah. And in Prince George, on your downtime, what do you like to do? Well, you're a mother?
Yeah, I have 3 girls. So downtime, what's downtime? No, I like to bike and ski. You kind of, I mean, you have to embrace that kind of stuff when you live here, I feel like, because there's, enjoy the outdoors, the nature. It's a nice balance when you're working with people all day to get out into the trees. Spend a lot of time with friends.
Do you think there's any advantages to being in Prince George for your business?
I do. I think there's so many advantages because there's just so much opportunity here. It's funny, people ask me all the time, like, what's it like being downtown? And as you know, our downtown is it's controversial.
Yes.
But so it's funny because when I first moved downtown, I remember feeling kind of like sketched out on, thinking, ooh, it's kind of scary and like watching my back. And it's really, I live downtown as well. It's really not that bad at all. Right. And I think, and maybe because I live down there and I work down there all the time, I'm used to it. But I feel like the problem is that we don't have enough businesses downtown. So I'll hear people say that have businesses like, I would never put my business downtown. It's too sketchy, whatever. And I'm like, well, if you don't, we're never going to have a real downtown. Right. So I just think, like the folks downtown, the more people are around, they don't bother us. We have very minimal issues being down there. It's, it's interesting. So and our business, maybe because we're a hair salon and we have shampoo and conditioner, nobody cares about that. Whatever.
Yeah, they're not breaking in to steal shampoo. No. You don't have electronics. You need more iPads. Yeah. And it's bright. There's lots of people, but I don't know. Do you think there's opportunity to market to all of the North and have them come to Prince George for your hair academy?
Definitely, like the northern surrounding areas, that kind of thing.
Yeah, like just being here, because like if you were in a more, I don't even know if trendy is the right word, but like the Okanagan, you know?
Yeah.
There's probably a lot more competition for like what you're doing.
Yeah, hair schools and also, like Vancouver, and it's true. It's just so much more expensive if you have to go down to Vancouver or to even the Okanagan to live. And so I think it's really nice. Like this year we have 2 students. One lives in Burns Lake and one lives in Fort St. James. And so they make the drive and they stay because it's only 2 days. We give priority to the out-of-towners to have their like salon immersion day back to back with the school day. So it's been great.
That's very sweet of you. Yeah. So they don't have to drive back and forth.
Yeah. And because it's not full time, they can kind of it's only like one night they have to stay and they can go back home. So I think that's appealing
Yeah.
to a lot of people.
Yeah, that makes sense. Right?
Mhm.
So it's within a few hours. And when they do finish, what is your hope for them?
That they get a job in a salon somewhere and just start working. And yeah, most, like last year, all of our students got jobs in salons and are still working in salons, which is awesome.
And then
It's been so cool to see, like, even some of the students from the first year. Like the first year I taught, you know, you're like, oh my gosh, you grow so much. But now that I'm like, I feel sorry for the students I taught in the first year.
right. Oh, because you're getting better at teaching?
You know, yeah, because you
Right.
you develop the program, you fine tune it. We're always making changes.
Well, they say that's a good phrase. Another one they say is one person teaches, two people learn.
Okay.
Right? Because it's like
Yeah, I'm learning just as much,
exactly,
if not more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of the things. Another one they say, it's like if you want to know whether or not you really understand something, they say go home and try to explain it to your dog.
Yeah, that's so
Right?
true.
Because if
So true.
you can do that, then you actually get it. And when you go to teach someone, yeah, it's like they're like a mirror. They bounce it back, and you're like, actually, I don't know why we do that. Why do we use those little scissors instead of the big ones, where we could just do one big chop?
Yes.
Why are we doing so many little choppies?
That's actually one of my favorite things about working with assistants in the salon is that piece, because you're kind of educating them and showing them. And then the beauty of it is, it forces you to be like, oh yeah, what am I doing here? Like,
Right.
You can get so caught up in conversation sometimes that all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait, did I just cut your hair way too short? So I feel like when you're explaining it to someone, not only are you putting the why behind what you're doing, but also the client is kind of like, oh, wow, that's so cool. Like, I had no idea so much thought goes into this. And it's like, yeah,
Right.
yeah, it does actually. Like, we take hair very seriously.
Yeah. What makes a good hairdresser?
Ooh. I think you have to like people and care about making people feel good. Yeah, and be able to listen. Like, to me, the consultation process is everything, like managing people's expectations. It's a collaboration. So it's yes, you know, you're an artist, but you're working on a live canvas, a human. So I think that like collaboration and just caring enough to make sure like someone feels heard, I think makes a really good hairdresser.
That's awesome. Do you find, is it hard to put that care in if you're just not having a good day? You know, like if you're having a hard day and then someone comes in and you're like, oh God.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't let my hard day. I think it's like you got to leave that.
Yeah. Well, I'm just picturing with comedy, like, you know, a lot of the time, you know, if I did, like I said on Friday, I had a crazy day and got to the theater so late, but you're like, the show must go on. And then you just literally have to weld that clown mask onto your face and be like, okay, you're a professional. Give them what they paid for.
Yeah. That's probably the exhausting part. I'm sure it could be more draining in that sense. Like, you'd go home and probably need a long nap after, but
because you guys get used as like therapists as well, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm like, we are not therapists. Like, bring it back to the hair. Like, I am not. I have a card here of someone I know that's good. And like, I love the part where people feel
Could you expand your business? Could you do therapy?
Totally.
Hair therapy, and you could get like a therapist in there who sits there and chats with them while you cut their hair.
Two birds. You call it two birds.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Two birds with one stone.
Two birds with one stone, yeah.
Yeah, I envision like the therapist sitting there while I'm doing the hair, and then I don't have to talk. Yeah,
it's like you're contracting out the talking part. Yes, and charging more. Good idea. I like that.
I like that.
You know what? We could do. I could do hair comedy. I will come and just tell them one-liners, and then they'll laugh, and you'll shave their head.
I shouldn't say. I mean, I love talking to people.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I think a lot of it just depends on who you're talking to. Like I always say, my favorite thing in the world and my least favorite thing in the world, they're the same thing, and it's people. But my favorite thing in the world is like a nice, kind, loving person. Like nothing makes me happier than to sit down with someone I love and have a conversation. But nothing makes me more upset than like a mean person.
Yeah.
You know, like if I'm driving and someone just fingers me and yells at me, I'm like, what's this guy's deal? You know? And then you look, I'm like, that's a person and that's a person. Why do I love that one? And that one drives me nuts.
It's true.
And sometimes it's the same person.
It's funny, like over the years, I feel like I've had to learn like the boundary piece of like, you know, because you get clients that as hairstylists, I think we're such pleasers. We just want to make everyone feel good. So we're natural people pleasers.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, for the longest time, if someone was like, I don't really know if I like it, or if they didn't give me the reaction that I was like if they didn't love it, I'd be like, okay, 20% off, I guess. Or like,
yeah.
So that piece was challenging, but I think that's what I love about like having a team is just like I'm trying to help this new generation of stylists like learn from my mistakes, hopefully, like and coming up with systems to like prevent that from happening. Like having those boundaries and those tough conversations before they have their hair done, and that.
So you mentioned earlier about the consultations.
Mm-hmm.
So is that like before you cut anyone's hair, you got to sit down with them?
Oh yeah, there's a series of questions that I like repeatedly ingrain into my students, into my team, like that they have to ask before they.
And how did you come up with those questions?
Probably just years of experience, like things like, you know, like what's your budget?
Right.
Things like how much time do you have?
You know what? I asked that for the first time the other day when I got this mullet. I asked how much is it going to cost because I took my nephew to go get braids because he was in the wrestling provincials last year. And he really likes having his hair braided for when he does like his wrestling or fighting because I think his favorite fighter has his hair braided, you know? Yeah. Well, they had a lady up here who would do it for him all the time in Prince George and it would cost like $40 or whatever. And they would braid his hair. Well, then we were down in Vancouver and he had to get his hair braided. Yeah. And took him to a place, didn't ask for nothing. When? It's $300.
Oh my gosh.
To get his hair. I was like,
see, and I was charging $8.
My God. Yeah. What were you doing? You undersold yourself. Big time. Yeah. So then, when I went to get this, my mullet, I'm like, I don't. As you can tell, I'm not not paying a lot for my hair. And the guy was like $30. I was like, perfect.
Yeah, done.
Yeah, so
totally. And that's the thing. The cool thing about our salon is we have different levels of stylists. So it's nice because if the budget is the priority, we have someone like level ones who are learning, and so it's a little bit more affordable if someone doesn't really care. But if someone's really picky and they want someone like experience is the most important thing.
Right.
Or if time is like they want to be in and out as fast as possible, then it makes more sense to book with like a higher level stylist. Right. So we'll kind of help guide them.
What's that rule? Remember, it's like quick, good, cheap. You ever heard that?
Oh no.
So they say they're like you can have it quick, good, cheap. Pick two. Right. So it could be like quick and good, but it's not going to be cheap. Yeah. You can have it good, like cheap and good, but it's not going to be quick.
Exactly,
you know?
And that's so true.
Quick and cheap, it's not going to be good.
Yeah. When they're learning, they're a little bit slower, and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What hairdressing? What are the cool people in the industry doing? Like, who's a hairdresser that do you have a hairdresser you look up to?
I do. Right now, it's probably the artistic director for Davines. I mean, all he does now is like create collections for this brand. So Davines is the brand of products that we carry. They're an Italian company. Yeah. And he gets to come up with like each year the new looks and stuff like that. And so it's more like art.
When you say new looks, like is that a hairstyle?
Yes,
or is it the new look for product packaging?
More for packaging, I would like. Well, and he does both actually. He's coming up with like collections that can go in and be user friendly, or what's the word I'm looking for? Like friendly for everyday people. But then he also comes up with things that are like just art, like purely art, just visual. And I'm like, how fun! He just gets to play with hair all day. Yeah. And sculpt and do the craziest things.
Do people invent new haircuts?
I mean, nothing's really new, but they put their spin on it, or it's, I'll have to.
Have you ever seen a haircut that you're like, I couldn't do that?
Yeah, there's some crazy hair artists that I'm like, I have no idea how they did that. Like how they made that out of hair. It's wild.
Right. And what are they doing? Are they like physically building like a thing on someone's head? Like
sometimes.
Tying the braid things, or is it just like the way they cut it?
I saw one where the head of hair looked like a dandelion. Like,
right.
And it was like, I want to say they used balloons somehow and hairsprayed it, and it was like this perfect sphere. It's crazy. And then they had to obviously sculpt it into this like round.
Do you have a favorite thing you like to cut hair with?
I love cutting hair with the razor.
With the
It's
razor?
sort of my thing. Yeah.
Oh, that's like just like the clippers?
No, it's like the straight blade.
Oh, the straight blade.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fun. Kind of gives it more of like a lived-in texture. It's like the haircut that doesn't look like you just got your haircut.
Okay,
You know?
right. It's like pre-washed jeans or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, okay.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. And how do you cut hair with a razor?
Oh my gosh, do you want me to break it down for you?
What do you like? You just like pull it out and like chop it? I've seen guys
Yeah,
doing
like
that.
tension's important. It's the right angle is important. If you can't, you could scrape the hair. That wouldn't be good.
Right.
I actually learned how to cut hair with a razor in New York at there's a hair university there. It's super cool, and so I've been a few times, and yeah, they taught proper technique and
With the razor blade.
mm-hmm.
Do you ever shave anyone's face?
Straight blade. No, I do not do that. I don't go anywhere.
Yeah, I've had a couple of straight razor shaves with the thing. And I remember asking the guy, I was like, has anyone offered you money to kill someone? like I'm like, this would be, like, you're the most vulnerable you could be. You're like just sticking your neck out. And you're like, yeah, put the blade in there.
It
Like,
could
oh
be,
God,
oops,
it's spooky.
Oops, it was an accident.
Didn't mean to do that.
There's a movie about that, I feel like.
Yeah.
Sweeney Todd or whatever. I
It
actually,
is? I've never seen
or I
it.
haven't seen it either. But
Neither have I don't know. About a murderer barber?
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, classic. They get away with everything, those barbers.
We do have a barber that does
what's the
it.
difference between a barber and a hair cutter?
I would a hair cutter.
What's the proper name? A hairstylist?
I feel like hairstylist, hairdresser.
Hairdresser,
people,
right.
Yeah, because we do a lot of color, so hair cutter doesn't.
Yeah,
apply color.
that doesn't do it. That's me being a 5-year-old right there.
But the difference, probably barbers are trained to do straight shaves, and yeah, they're not. Usually barbers aren't doing much color. However, I'm trying to get our barber to specialize in doing color for men as well.
Okay.
Like gray blending and.
You know how dumb I am. You ever heard of Just for Men, Touch of Gray?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You know what I thought? I thought it put a little bit of gray in your beard. That's what I thought it did. It's
awesome.
It's the opposite, right?
Yeah, it's the opposite.
It just dyes part of it and leaves part
some
of the
gray left, so it doesn't look.
I was
black.
so stupid that I was like, oh no, you buy it and then you add gray in
That would be
to
amazing.
make yourself look more sophisticated and smarter.
It's funny. We get a lot of women now who are like embracing their grays, and they want us to put gray in, so it'll grow out nicer. It's really challenging, actually.
Yeah. Oh, when they have some grays, they want more grays added.
Yeah, like if they've been coloring their hair for years, and then they want to add some silver back in, so it'll grow out nice.
Right. Dude, the hair changes the look a lot, hey? It's like rims on a car. The quickest way you can change a car is the rims. And
Yeah.
it's what your hair is for your body. Because
Totally.
my mom dyes her hair like every week. It's just jet black the whole time. I forget, she's almost 70.
Yeah.
Like she does, for some reason to me, my mom still looks like she's 50.
Yeah,
and
it's
it's
the hair.
because of the hair.
Totally.
Actually, we had a show. Oh my God, hopefully my auntie doesn't watch this. So we were doing a show. My mom always comes and sells the merch. And my auntie will come sometimes. So my mom and my auntie, she's not my real auntie, she's just my mom's best friend. So call her auntie. And they come on a show. And during my show, I always talk about my mom and how my mom's selling merch. And, I tour with her and all of this.
I love that.
Big mom's boy, mama's boy. And these people after the show came outside and were talking to my mom. They're like, oh, and are you the mom? I'm like, yeah. And they turn to my auntie and go, and are you grandma?
Oh, no.
And they're the same age.
Oh, no.
Oh, man.
The
I
hair
forgot.
color.
I know. And my mom's just like, you got to dye your hair. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing, Deborah?
true.
Dye your hair.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the roots grow out and then you gotta fix it all again. Is there different?
Keeps me in business.
Yes. There's obviously different hair types, right?
Oh yeah, so many different hair types.
Like, can you tell dead hair when you see it?
Hair is technically dead. Like it's all.
Oh,
dead.
it's all dead. So then what are we worried about with these deadhead, or what do you call them, dead split ends?
Split ends, yeah. Because once they start to split, if you don't cut them off, they continue to split up and just. If the hair's not healthy, I always say you could be the best like colorist in the world, but if the hair's doesn't look healthy, your work isn't gonna shine. It's not gonna look good.
Right.
So it's all about keeping the hair and the canvas as healthy as possible.
You're a simple potter. You can only work with the clay you're given.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's lots of things you can do to, get your hair healthy and looking healthy. And
What is I guess we go either way. What causes bad hair or what helps make it good?
Oh my
Like
god.
what's something that people do that wrecks their hair that you're like, oh, you shouldn't be doing this?
Like heat, like flat ironing your hair all the time with heat and not using like a heat protectant. You can do this thing where you take like a heat protectant to see if it works. You spray it on a piece of toast and then you put it in the toaster and like wherever the heat protection is, it won't burn. But if, yeah, like I've seen people make like little shapes and then where it's not, the toast burns. So, right? It's like burning your hair.
That's just a way to prove your heat protectant works?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah, or I don't know, bleach. When people color their hair, it is a chemical. So if you're coloring your hair and you're doing it all the time, it's obviously going to cause damage. Yeah, so even things like if your hair is really delicate and fine, like a silk pillowcase can help keep your hair.
I heard of that. I've heard that I should get one of those because I'm getting a bald patch at the back and I am terrified. And someone told me silk sheets.
Yeah, silk is good. It has to be real silk though. It can't be like this.
Because why the silk? Is it slippery so it doesn't pull on my hairs?
A little bit, yeah. It doesn't absorb like as much of the oil, like the natural oils and stuff out of your hair. Like cotton will absorb like.
Oh, it's taking my good hair oil.
Taking your good hair oil out.
For itself.
Yeah.
That's pretty rude. It's rude. But then can I buy oil to put it back in there?
Mm-hmm.
And it'll make it all fixed and good again?
Yeah, that oil will help you.
Oh yeah, the oil that you gave me before the show from Devanesque.
Yeah.
You got to use the Devanesque oil to stay healthy. I like it. I wonder if they're going to keep that part in. They're pretty picky about branding on the show, which who knows, you know? I'm not too worried. We'll slide it right by. They won't notice.
We'll see.
Yeah. Now, what is your plans for your future for your hair salon in Prince George?
I would like to have another location eventually. I see. Yeah, that I just want to grow, and I've got some I'd like to help. I've been getting other salons call and ask about our internal training program. So I'd like to help other salons maybe set up their own internal training program.
Call it Hair Launch.
Hair Launch. Okay, that's we're trying to come up with a name. That's a good one.
Yeah, Hair Launch. How to launch your hair salon.
Yeah, I'll write that one down.
Yeah, I just took that from Alex Hermosi because he had Gym Launch.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the guy that I like.
Nice.
Yeah, he's my favorite.
Yeah.
I think I've been sending you his reels. Look at this one. But it's so good. He has that one about, we're talking about you having to learn from your mistakes. Or you're like, oh, I'm going to train these people and it costs money and then they all leave. That's like one of the things Hermosi says that sucks at the beginning because he says his first 9 businesses failed. He's like 9. He goes, I mean, spent time, made the business, failed. And he's like, spent time, made a business, failed. And he's like, the hardest part about all of that is that everyone is telling you, I told you so, and they're right. He goes, today, but not forever. And it's like that's the hard part is like, you know, when you are struggling with those things and it's like, everyone is right, you know? You're like, gosh. Oh, probably not allowed to swear. We'll cut that out. Yeah, my first swear word on the pod. Yeah.
You're in trouble.
What is the, do you have like an average demographic? Like what age?
I would say probably like 25 to 45.
Is what most of your students are?
Sorry, not for students.
Sorry, yeah. I was like, I gotta.
Sorry, that was for clients. Yeah,
clients
for
is
students.
25, 45, yeah.
Students probably younger, like 18. I mean, I don't know. We've got a couple older women this year, which is awesome. Like, or mature students, I should say.
Yeah. That's what I say during the shows. I say it's nice. We got the young people out from TikTok, and then we have the experienced people.
Experienced people, yeah. The experience. I like that better. Experienced people, they always learn so much quicker. Like.
Yeah, well, because they probably learned how to learn, right? They're like, oh, I've learned so many things in my life. I know how to learn now.
So they're lovely. One of the students, it's super cool. She's a nurse and she does like foot care, and so she wants to do hair so that she can bring like a hair care element to her patients, which I think is awesome. So she's already got her own business started and everything.
Right.
There's a need for that for sure. So it's nice. Yeah, it's a good, well-rounded group, but I don't know. Mostly it's young people.
Yeah.
Like just graduated from high school.
And how long are the courses? You said 6 months?
It's 300 hours spread out over 6 months.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And do you run it year-round, or do you just do?
Yeah, we do 1 student intake per year. So that's it for now. We'll
Yeah,
see.
so you have 6 months where you're running the academy and then the other 6 months are off.
You might do some like advanced classes and things like that.
Yeah, I guess during the summer would be tough trying to lock people down.
Yeah.
Especially being up here in the north, we talked about. You're like, we only get so much summer. We get outdoors. You're like, we can be outside. Don't want to be in here.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't want to teach during the summer. I go down to 4 days a week in the summer. It's nice.
Yeah, that's why you opened your own business.
Yes.
So you could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, before I let you go, here's a philosophical question.
Oh.
What is something that you used to believe to be true that you no longer do?
Oh no, I should have prepared for this. I've heard you ask. Oh, something I used to believe to be true. I used to say fourth time's a charm for me. Like, which is funny because the saying is third time's the charm, meaning, keep going, you'll eventually get it. But lately, and I feel like this is kind of opposing what you believe, but lately I've been in this place where I'm more trying to attract, like kind of pivot a little bit. Like if something's really not flowing or working hard, I'm kind of like, how can I approach this differently and stop like beating this dead horse, or just like, because I feel like I'm the type of person that I'm like, I'll fight my way to like get there if it takes as many times or as much work as it takes. And now I'm kind of like, there's got to be an easier way, or like so I don't know.
No, that's very good. That's very good. That is.
You put me on the spot.
Yeah, no, you did great. I think that's one of the hardest things in life to decipher. Like I wonder that with my spiritual side, and I'm like, is this so hard because God is like, dude, you're not meant to do this? Or is this so hard because God is like, we need to make it this hard so that you rebuild the character that has the resilience to overcome these type of obstacles? And you're always wondering with everything. I'm like, is the difficult thing a sign telling you to stop, or is it a sign telling you to keep going? Yeah. And I don't know how you decipher that. Like Will Smith talks about in his book, where he said his whole life he spent trying to bend the universe to his will. Where he's like, everything, I would just force it and like go so hard to make it go the way I wanted it to go. And then he met a bunch of hippie dudes who are like, hey man, like the universe guides me. And he's like, how are these guys just sitting at the beach all day and they're like happier than me? And Will Smith is like, I'm the biggest movie star in the world and I'm miserable. But
that's like my name, The Current, because it's like, I feel like, I'm always like kind of like fighting upstream to get, and so I'm like trying to more go with the flow and still on the same path, but just trying to find, I don't know.
Yeah, that's so cool. Is that what The Current is? It's part of like a river thing too?
Yeah.
Is that why you call it that?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was like current, like we have the most current hair cutties.
Yeah, I mean, it all goes together.
All together.
Yeah, it's about staying current, but then also being more like present and current in what you're doing, and
Yeah, which is a good message for life.
Yeah.
And we are currently finished, I guess. Is that what you say? Well, yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah,
and I really appreciate having you. And it was, a great chat.
Yeah.
So everyone, go check out The Current in Prince George. You're going to love it. I love it. Scott gets his hair done there. And so does Jeff. Anyway, nice to meet you guys. Talk to you later.